안녕하세요. 예스유학의 줄리엣 컨설턴트입니다. 이번에 제가 방문한 학교는 커네티컷주 펌프렛에 위치한 Rectory School입니다. 렉토리는 숲이 넓게 펼쳐진 조용한 지역의 자리에 캠퍼스 자체가 아이들의 호흡을 한 템포 느리게 만들어주는 느낌이었습니다. 교실에서 집중하고 밖으로 나가 몸을 움직이며 다시 정리하는 흐름이 자연스럽게 이어져서 배움의 생활 안에 녹아있는 학교라는 인상이 강했습니다. 렉토리스쿨은 1920년에 설립된 남녀공학 K-9 스쿨로 5학년부터 9학년까지는 주니어보딩 프로그램을 운영하고 있습니다. 재학생은 약 230명 내외로 교사대 학생 비율이 약 1대4 수준인 촘촘한 환경에서 학생 한 명 한 명을 깊게 보고 지도하고 있습니다. 렉토리는 무려 1966년 첫 한국인 학생이 졸업했을 만큼 한국과 인연이 깊은 학교인데요. 렉토리의 첫 한국인 졸업생은 대한항공 한진그룹 조양호 회장으로 이후 그의 가족 6명이 렉토리를 나올 정도로 렉토리에 대한 신뢰가 깊었습니다. 또한 조양호 회장의 아들 조원태 회장이 렉토리 한국 동문회 회장을 맡으며 우리나라에서 렉토리 스쿨 졸업생들은 매우 긴밀한 네트워크를 만들어가고 있습니다. 렉토리가 강조하는 키워드는 존중, 책임, 정직, 그리고 공감인데요. 제가 본 렉토리는 작은 공동체 안에서 생활하며 스스로를 관리하고 관계를 배우고 자기 속도로 성장하는 힘을 단단히 만들어주는 곳이었습니다. 이제 렉토리 스쿨의 따뜻한 캠퍼스를 함께 만나볼까요? 안녕하세요. 오늘 렉토리 스쿨에 도착했습니다. 이제 곧 캠퍼스 투어를 시작할 거고 우리 한번 가볼까요?
Alright, are you guys ready to begin? So this is Kaden Lane.
Nice to meet you, Juliet.
So he's been here for 3 years. So he's one of our 9th graders. So he's an ambassador last year and also this year. So he walked around with us.
Cool.
So we always like to start right here. So kind of just a bird's eye view of our campus, kind of just summer, springtime. So in this building right here, this is where we currently are. So it's more of our admissions offices, our administrative offices, but then also our business office as well. But also connected, this whole building here is our whole academic building. So not much having to go outside for classes for a lot of our students. So mainly all the core classes will be all in this building, which is all connected.
Okay, that's nice.
Yep, so for example, if it's a rainy, cold day in the winter, they don't have to worry about going outside too much. So all the classes will be on our 3rd floor, 2nd floor, or our 1st floor. Okay? And then our 2 other ambassadors, they'll be able to show you our gym here. And then we do have some construction a little bit to the left because we are building a 2nd gym. And then we have our art barn, our dining hall. Then we'll also be able to show you the Wolf Den, which is our student center. And then they'll also be able to show you one of our newest dorms, Centennial. Then you'll see we have our tennis courts, our athletic fields.
Wow.
And then all the way in the corner is our varsity baseball field, so a little bit more of a walk. And then for our sports here, that's off campus, we do have swimming. So we use our local YMCA, which is about 10 minutes down the road. And then we also use a Pomfret school for the squash courts, and then also the ice hockey rink. So we also, in the fall, we also have equestrian. So we're going out to the stables, which is about 10 to 12 minutes down the road as well. Okay?
Pretty cool.
So it's kind of the spring, summer. And of course, next to it, we had to match it up with kind of the winter. So one thing that we do in winter that a lot of our students love to do is a lot of skiing and snowboarding. So usually throughout January and February on Sundays, our students do a lot of skiing or snowboarding. So they'll wake up a little bit earlier. So whether that's around 7:30 or so, they kind of get to the dining hall, have breakfast, and then they'll drive 1 hour to Watusis Mountain, which they'll have the opportunity to either go ski or snowboard all day long.
Cool.
So usually almost every Sunday, So, Kaden, have you actually done any skiing or snowboarding?
I ski, so we wake up at like 7:30 as you said, and we go to the dining hall, we get some food, and we get like ski passes, and we depart at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we go to the Wachusei Mountain, and from there it's like our time. We're free, we can just ski, we can just rest, and then we come back around 5-ish in the afternoon, and we also have like a big ski trip. We go to the J Peak Mountain all the way up in Vermont.
Oh wait, is that where like all the boarding
So
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
a good, you have a good
Yeah,
amount
yeah.
of the boarders will
Yeah.
do that one.
So Vermont is like 5 hours in bus. Yeah, we move by bus, so that's a long time. But we go there and we spend about 2 days, and
Wow.
there we also can go to the
Yeah.
water park or
Right.
we just like play around there.
Vermont is one of my favorite places to ski.
Really?
Yeah, it used to be.
So our kids obviously love doing JP each year, but we always give them a lot of different opportunities to ski or snowboard. But this not only just for our boarders, so our day students are also involved as well. So you will see a lot of day students doing either JP or also go to Wachusei Mountain. So usually on Sundays, it's a little bit quieter on campus throughout January and February, just because a lot of our students do go to Wachusei Mountain to ski and snowboard. So last year was his last year, but throughout this time, there's pictures of the different classes that he had. So in 2015 is when I graduated. So this is my 9th grade class. So this is little me in 9th grade. So we kind of get to see the different classes throughout the years that Fred Williams was our head of school. So throughout this building, you see a lot of artwork, either done by students or of students, or just different paintings. Okay? But here, this is our through the decades. So this is our big timeline of our history. So we were founded in 1920. So a lot of our old history is here, and as we kind of circle all the way around, this is more of our newer history here. So for example, on FEMA, we're in 2007, and then things like 2012, Welcome Wolfie, who's our mascot. So different cool things you kind of read about and see different things. So it's kind of cool to have this here with a lot of rich history.
I like this.
Yeah.
This is new.
Kind of see where it began and then kind of see what we're doing
Right now.
All right, and then I'll point you out to some spaces that Lau and Max will be able to show you. So here is our pavilion area. So this is where a lot of our students will play basketball, foursquare, and then we do have pickleball lines here now. So usually on the weekends, this is a really big activity for a lot of our students to do. But then also during break time from 10:15 to 10:30, this is where a lot of our 7th through 9th grade students hang out. Okay? And here is our Performing Arts Tank Center. So in the mornings from Tuesday through Friday, 8 o'clock to 8:15, kind of is a big morning meeting.
Yeah.
So with our whole middle school, so boarders and day students. So we'll hear any announcements, if there's any schedule changes, maybe if there's any sports recaps from the day before. So all the general information that you'll need throughout the day, all that will happen here in our tank center. And then here is our dining hall. So we'll have all of our meals, so breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So they're all mandatory for all of our students, and they're all 30 minutes long.
Oh, 30 minutes.
30 minutes long. And then lastly, here is one half of our wolf den. So this half is where they'll play different board games, where you have different treats. And then the other half is where there's a foosball table, ping pong table, couches, flat screen TV, all types of different fun things like that for a lot of our students to kind of enjoy and hang out. Okay? All right. And then up here is our Martin Luther King Junior Day of Service wall. So every year on his birthday, there's no school for our students. So not only do our students have the opportunity to do a lot of community service, but also do our whole faculty and just school as a whole. So how it's broken down is the first half of the day, we'll have a guest speaker. So maybe it's a former athlete, maybe it's an author, maybe it's a public speaker, just someone kind of talk about their experience and kind of share with the community. And then they may have a different kind of working exercise with our students and faculty. So we'll have the whole first half of the day to kind of talk about that. And the second half of the day after lunch, we'll go out and do a lot of community service. So things like making different meals in our dining hall for different organizations, maybe going out to a local community and kind of cleaning up. But one thing our students loved doing the past few years was creating Valentine's Day cards for people in nursing homes. So this cool tradition started in 2010, and then we've done it every year since. So it gets the whole community involved in Rectory, and then it's just about the phrase, what are you doing for others? May also be a study hall space. So all of our students will have mandatory study hall. So whether that's usually grades from 7 and 8, this can also be a nice quiet spot where they can get a lot of work done. So usually in here, but then also there's more space in our dining hall, which is more holds our 7 to 8 grade students.
Oh, and it's open for students to study
Yep,
as well
so
in the dining hall?
they'll study so they'll have their assigned location. So usually 7th, 8th grade will be either here in the dining hall, and then for example, Kin is in 9th grade, so he'll have a different spot. So where are you guys for study hall?
So we 9th graders are in the 10 for study hall. And my first year in 7th grade, I was in the library for study hall. And then last year in 8th grade, I was in the dining hall. So it's like, it's kind of random for 7th and 8th graders.
I like that. I like that you guys use the space
all the
around the
different-
campus.
And then we'll have some of our 5th and 6th graders, they'll be in a classroom in the academic building. But the thing is, everyone's doing study hall at the same time. So it's not like someone's doing activities, well, okay, if they're doing activities, I have to be in study hall, everyone's doing the same thing. All right, and then one thing that we always love to point out is our 9th grade tiles. So every year since 2019, our 9th graders leave a little representation of themselves in the Rectory community. So a lot will put like their name, maybe where they're from, some different sports they like to do, maybe it's music, but kind of just decorate their tile any way that they like. So whether
this is
it's
for
just like
ninth grade?
Yep, so only 9th grade
So
students will
next
do it. So they'll kind of pick a design, something that they kind of want to do and decorate it. But that's something a lot of our 9th graders kind of look forward to. So at the end of school year, they kind of leave a little representation of themselves in the community. Our average class size this year is around 14 students. So students are able to ask as many questions as they would like in a classroom. So it is nice and small. So they do a lot of group projects, a lot of just partner work, also going up to the smart board and interacting. So we do a lot of brain-based learning.
So this is boarding and day students.
Yep.
High level.
So usually these two classrooms will be like our 8th grade classrooms. But for example, this classroom up to our left will be a 6th grade classroom. So not one floor is just assigned to a certain grade. They'll be able to kind of mix from floor to floor and interact and see different grades. So 5th graders can see 8th graders, 7th graders can see 9th graders, and all etc. All right, but then here is kind of our busy schedule. So it looks hectic seeing it for the first time, but I'll explain kind of how a Tuesday would look. So 7:30 to 8 is when all of our boarders will have mandatory breakfast, but then also you can see that we have Recapella. So Recapella is a trial-based group that's a little advanced course, so they will have practice from 7:30 to 8:15. So they'll just eat a little bit earlier. And then we'll have that assembly from 8 o'clock to 8:15. So I'll be in the Tang Center and then kind of talk as a group. And then we'll have our first class. So all of our classes are an hour long in the fall. So we'll have our first class, and then we have performing arts / electives. So performing arts can be things like if our students play an instrument, want to be part of an orchestra, or if they like to sing, be part of a chorus. But also like in the spring, if they want to be part of a spring musical. All that will be performing arts. And then electives can be fun things that our students choose. So whether it's like sports media, robotics, chess, mountain biking. So a lot of fun activities that they can choose to do. So Kaden, what elective are you choosing to do this fall?
So the past 2 years I did sports media. the whole year, but this year I'm in orchestra.
Orchestra.
Yeah, and I'm also a part of jazz band.
Ooh.
And so we would meet up in Thursday mornings before assembly.
So right here.
Our wake up time is 6:45, and we gotta get ready until 7:30 so we can go to the dining hall for breakfast. But if I'm in jazz band, I would wake up at like 6:30.
Yeah,
And I like
early.
tidy myself up, and our breakfast is at 7:15 to 7:30, and from 7:30 to about 8:15ish, it's our practice. Yeah.
All right, so Tuesday, so after performing arts elective, we'll have break, so it's like 15 to 10:30. So 15 minutes, our students kind of get out the classroom, kind of get out the academic world for a little bit. So that's when they'll go to that pavilion and then kind of hang out, catch up with friends, just relax for a little bit. Then they'll have their second class, and then that's when it gets a little bit tricky. So you'll see 2 lunches first and second.
Yeah.
So our students don't get to eat twice. So first lunch is just for our 5th through 7th graders. So our 5th through 7th graders will have first lunch from 11:30 to 12, and then from 12 to 1 they will have class. And then our 8th and 9th graders, so for example Caden will have class from 11:30 to 12:30,
And then have
and then
lunch.
he would have
Yeah.
lunch. So he just finished up second lunch. Then we have our 4th class, and then our 5th class here. Okay, and then 2 other things I want to point out is advisory. So we'll have advisory 3 times a week.
Wow.
So an advisor can be a dorm parent, a coach, a learning specialist, just someone who our students kind of interact with on a daily basis to kind of check in. So it's great to have them for our student check-ins, but then also parents as well, who are maybe really far away from home. Okay, so we'll have that Monday morning, Wednesday afternoon, and then Friday afternoon. And then enrichment will be Wednesdays and Fridays. So enrichment is when our teachers here kind of have a free period. So it's more like office hours. So if our students maybe have to make up a quiz or a test, they can go to our teachers enrichment here. But then also if they want to ask any questions outside of the designated class time, they can also do that during enrichment. So for example, if I know on Thursday, first period, I have a Spanish test, I can go to my Spanish teacher's enrichment on Wednesday and say, hey, what are some things I should study for my test tomorrow? So they'll help you with anything that you need, but then if you need to go to another teacher, another class for help, you can also do that as well. Okay? So that's kind of just what our busy schedule would look like. So it's 5 classes throughout the day.
Very cool.
Okay? And then it ends at 3, and then 3 to 4:30, that's when we have mandatory sports for all our students. Alright, and then this is more of our science wing. So for example, a lot of our 8th graders will have science here. So every term will be something different. So for example, the fall will be more of chemistry, the winter will be biology, and then the spring will be an intro to physics. So here is our secondary school advising office.
I could tell.
So this
by
is
the-
where
all the flags and
this is where
stickers.
all of our students kind of get to see what's next after Rectory. So of course all the different flags that you see are from all different school students are either go to after Rectory. So we have our 2 advisors, Max Richards and also Sarah DiOrio. So Max
yeah.
Richards will work with our 9th graders, and Sarah DiOrio will work with our 8th graders. But they help all of our students find a home that's for them specifically. So for example, if I like playing soccer, I love playing the clarinet in the orchestra, and I want to be in a school where it's a small community, where I know everyone's name in the first month, they'll put me to different schools that have those similar interests as me. So even during like lunchtime, our Max Richards kind of has a little seminar with the 9th graders to kind of explain kind of what goes on. Have you had your seminar yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
We started last week.
Gotcha. What are some things that you do in the seminar?
So in the seminar, we just practically see the overview of our secondary school application process. So we just talk about like what isn't like a vital thing we should do, what should we not do, like the important things that we should consider about every single time throughout our secondary school process. Yeah, and like other like extra informations, we would all like talk about it together in there.
So for 1 week in May, there's no school for our students. So our students have the opportunity to kind of learn outside the Rectory classroom and outside the Rectory community. So they get to kind of venture off and do little fun activities, whether it's academic, community service, so different fun things that they will typically won't come across if they don't kind of do it in person. So for example, these are some of the MELP offerings that we have. So for example, they can go to faraway places like maybe Puerto Rico or San Diego, or they can stay a little bit local and do charter Philly in Philadelphia, or they can do things like inside like New England sports. So a lot of fun things a lot of our students can choose just depending on what they like to do. So they can do some maybe regarding animals, maybe cooking, sports, kind of seeing something new. So they kind of get to choose a different MELP every single year. So what MELPs have you done since you got here?
My first year, I was lucky to be off campus. I went here, this happened in Virginia. We just went around like historic sites, and we just like went around all over like Virginia and last year I went to DC.
Yeah.
So it was a long ride. We took like 7 hours in train.
No.
But we went to like the Lincoln Memorial, the White House. We just like went all over around. It was really fun.
All right, so this is going to be the end of the academic tour with me. So we have our two ambassadors, Max and Lau. So they'll be able to show you outside and kind of show you some fun things that
Cool,
they will
I'm
be able
so
to talk about.
excited.
Okay?
So we have morning assembly here, except Monday.
This is a place where like we have like a fall family weekend, winter family weekend, and spring family weekend. All the families and students come to here and watch the show. And also during assembly, we also kind of celebrate like the birthday. So, for example, if our birthday today on assembly today, we might sing happy birthday.
Some private music lesson going on. There's a drums, there's guitar class, and for now we're going to Odium.
So
Yeah.
it's the newest building. We done building this last year.
Oh, this is new.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys are so lucky.
So I think there's a music class going on right now. You might see.
So for 9th graders, we get to choose our classes. We can choose guitar class, which takes here, and we play guitar and perform in the tank. Every week we have a laundry day. We put laundries in the bag and they will come next week.
Wow.
So this is a common room. You can watch TV whenever you want, and you can just socialize with friends here.
What about the phone use?
So right there,
Yeah,
you see the
I
box
see
right
that.
there? So they call it
Cage.
tag box. So how the tag policy work in Rectory is, so during week we get our tag at 8 p.m. and we gotta turn it at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
It's a little strict.
Hello, I'm Leslie Gibbs. I'm the Director of Enrollment at Rectory School. I'm going into my 25th year. So I've been at Rectory for 24 years. I've raised my son and daughter here, and I've not only worked in the admissions office, but I've also done secondary school advising for 10 years, and have really enjoyed being on this campus with our students for that long.
Thank you. It's so nice to have you on today. Every school has a distinct atmosphere. You can often feel it within 5 minutes of stepping on campus, and that's definitely something I felt walking on campus here at Rectory. If you had to capture your school's energy in 3 words, what would they be, and can you give me a snapshot of why?
I would say belonging is one of them. So I think as soon as you come on our campus, you can see yourself in some area, whether it's the arts or the sports or wherever culture you're coming from, and you just feel like this is going to be your home away from home. Another word is safe. So not only do we live in a safe place, but we are also a very safe environment for you to try new things. So we don't expect everyone to come with talent in all areas, but we do hope that you feel safe enough to attempt to try something new. And then compassionate. Our kids are sweet and compassionate, and they care about each other, and they support each other, whether it's going to someone's concert or on the side of the sports field. They're very compassionate.
We always tell families that finding the right school is about more than just the rankings or the facilities. It's about the feeling and the fit, mostly for the students and also as for the parents as well. What is something about your school, whether it's a value, tradition, approach, or mindset, that genuinely sets from other junior boarding schools?
I would just say the opportunity. Our kids get exposure to a variety of different things. Like, for example, our MELP program. Our kids, for the first week in May, get to explore education outside of the classroom. And they go all over the place, all over the U.S., whether it's history focused or hiking, or I take a group of kids to Puerto Rico to learn about how it became part of the United States and the history behind it and the culture and the food and the language, and then of course the science. So there's a lot of that will take place during that week, and it's something that is unique to Rectory, and our kids love it. But also I would say just the little traditions that we have, like our orange and black. Our kids get assigned a color when they get here, and then we have different competitions throughout the year, and it's something that they really value and look forward to. But I could go on and on because we have a whole bunch of them.
Okay. Every school has a mission statement, but how that mission actually shows up in daily life is what really matters. Could you share how your school's core values or mission are lived out by students and teachers on a normal day here at Rectory School?
So Rectory has 4 tenets: honesty, responsibility, respect, and compassion. And we live those tenets out every day. So whether it's in the classroom, on the sports field, or just going down the street to Target, we remind kids how being honesty is important, how respecting each other and each other's interests is important. Again, showing compassion and being responsible. We hold these kids to a high standard academically, but also our residential life students, the kids that board here, we expect them to clean their room and be responsible about their outside of the classroom duties as well.
Thank you. For many of our families, this is their first time living away from home. Could you walk us through a typical weekend here at Rectory, and what kind of activities or traditions do students look forward to on the weekends?
So yes, the majority of our kids, when they first come to Rectory, it's their first time living away from home.
Yeah.
So for example, this past weekend, we did a little seminar to remind kids, these are the do's and don'ts of being a boarding student, and this is how hygiene takes place, and making sure that they know how to do the things to keep themselves healthy. But a typical weekend, our students get a list of all the different weekend activities on Tuesday, and they get to choose which activities they'd like to do. So if you're more sporty and you want to sign up to play dodgeball, or you want to go outside in the pavilion and play basketball or pickleball, you could do that. But if you want to do arts and crafts, we have some of those. We go off campus, we go to museums, we go to movies. This weekend was apple picking. And then we have other kind of unique things. So they had a cooking event, and then they were making fried rice this weekend. They do a baking competition. They made apple crisps on Sunday after the apple picking.
Wow.
So every weekend's a little bit different, but there's tons of different activities. So Friday night they'll have an activity, Saturday they'll have two, but they might also have a sporting event on Saturday as well. And then Sunday they'll have an activity in study hall as well. And then the winter, on Sundays, we have a ski program. So the kids can go skiing or snowboarding every Sunday if they would like to. So tons of activities for the kids, but they have choice.
Yeah.
So they have to do something, but they do have choice within that.
Okay. As you know, food is such a central part of daily life. I know it is for mine. And for many students, it's comfort and also a cultural bridge. How would you describe the dining experience at Rectory School? Are there any food tradition, theme meals, or fun quirks that make it unique here at Rectory School?
So Chef Dave and his staff know our students well, and they all call our kids by name, which is great. And they have a variety of different types of foods. We have parents who will send in recipes, so they'll do unique foods from home. But then we celebrate certain holidays, and we have kids try new foods that they've never had before. We have the moon cake celebration, and we'll do a celebration for the Day of the Dead. And so different cultures, we will always bring food into it in some capacity. But let's see, some of the kids' favorite meals. Well, first of all, we have sit-down meals a couple nights a week. So it's waiters are serving the kids, and then we have cafeteria style for the rest of it. But then we do specialty nights as well. So one of the kids' favorites is ramen night. And they have ramen with all different toppings and different type of broth. And then they'll do omelets, or they'll do kind of unique things for the kids. So they spice it up all the time.
All right, moving on to the next question. I've heard that at some junior boarding schools, students are involved in dining hall jobs, dorm roles, or small leadership responsibilities. What kinds of responsibilities do students take on here? And what personal growth do you see come out of those roles? And it's a loaded question, but how do international students find their own ways to thrive here at Rectory?
So all students have an opportunity for these leadership roles. So whether it's just part of the boarding life, or day room proctors, or coaches, or section leaders in the orchestra, they all have an opportunity for it. So it's not just international students. But there are so many. So we have people who run the tech booth. We have people who run the kind of cafe area of our wolf den. Kids who are taking care of our packages and organizing that. So we we have tons of different opportunities for kids, and not everyone wants a leadership role in a certain area, right? So there's lots of opportunities for them, and then of course student council. So this particular year, I mean, and we have ambassadors. So we have international students who will partake in all of those things. This year, our student council is run by an international student. So they do get those proctorships, and they can be a head waiter or a waiter. Those are all things that kids sign up for. So we don't ask them, we don't require them to do any of them. It's things that they elect to do. Now, all students, we ask them to take on responsibility in the dorm, where it's not only just cleaning their room. Yeah, it's they all have dorm jobs that change from week to week. So.
You've probably met so many different kind of students, whether they're shy, bold, academically driven, athletes walking through your doors. But is there a common thread among the ones who truly thrive here at Rectory?
Yeah, I would say the common thread is kids who are willing to try. So you have a ton of adults here that are here to push you and teach you and advise you, but you have to be willing to take on that. So as I said at the beginning, like, we have a very safe place for you to be who you want to be and try the things you want to do. We hope that every child will graduate and they will have this toolbox of how they best learn, the things that they love to do, the things that they have explored that they want to continue in high school, and also those things that they're like, okay, I've tried it, but I'm no longer interested, you know. So those kids who are willing to take that leap and, you know, test the waters and try things are the ones that are most successful.
Thank you. Next question is in YesYuHawk, we work with students from all kinds of academic backgrounds, some who are very fluent in English, and some who are still building their confidence. How do you support your international students academically in their first year at Rectory, especially as they transition into English-based classrooms?
So we have the range of students at Rectory School. So we have our Learning Support Center. So our students can have an individualized instruction program. That's a one-on-one where a learning specialist is working with a student. So if you really need that extra support or you need help with organizational skills, we have someone that can help you with that. That first year, we are very aware too that this is your first time away from home, right? So we are helping them on the dorm, we're helping them acclimate. There's a lot of orientation that takes place. We're also, it's a cultural change with the food. It's a cultural change with just even the bedding and the expectations on clothing and everything. So there's a lot of changes, but we have lots of orientation stuff to help kids, and we have a lot of adults that are watching every single child. So we are very much aware of who they are. So, I mean, a kid who wakes up in the morning and they have a tough morning, by the time they get to breakfast, let alone first period, we've already kind of communicated with everyone, hey, so-and-so might need a little extra support or had a rough morning, so we're gonna support them.
So we're often asked about the numbers first from the parents. Could you share what percentage of your students are international and how many Korean students currently are attending here? And also, beyond the numbers, how do Korean students tend to integrate socially and culturally here? So in our middle school, because we have a small elementary school, but in our middle school, we're about 42% international. We have a little over 20 Korean students currently. They are coming in stronger and stronger every year. So, as I said, I've been here a while. Yes.
We've always had a great group of Korean students, but they are definitely coming in more prepared, and their English skills are much stronger now than they were 20 years ago. But they also have a passion of getting involved in the arts or music or sports. So it doesn't mean that they're going to be passionate about all three, but they do have an interest in trying out or continuing something that maybe they've started back at home. But then our kids are coming in academically strong too. So we have the Learning Services program, but then we also have ways for them to take an extra class. So they're in the Bigelow Scholars program as well in the 8th and 9th grade, which allow them to tackle world problems in a different way. So whether it's Global Journeys or the entrepreneurial program. So there's a huge range of our students, but we support them and challenge them academically, athletically, and through the arts.
Thank you. You've seen so many applications over the years. Some are polished, some are a little rough, but many are very full of potential. Is there one piece of advice you wish every applicant understood before starting the process, whether it's about interviews, essays, or even their mindset? And now that it's, the 2026 fall semester application has opened, now students are preparing their portfolios, asking for recommendations, getting that transcript ready, and even prepping for their interview process. So what's your thoughts on that?
I would say being honest throughout the process is key. We don't expect you to be perfect at everything, and that's okay. But so if you really like basketball, great, say you like basketball. If you've just played basketball once, say that's different than you being really passionate about it. You don't need to go crazy on taking test after test after test just to get that perfect score. Because we can tell in our interview how well your English is, and we can tell through your your transcript or your recommendations, what your English skills are, and we want to make you successful. So we're going to pick up from where you've left off. But being honest with us is the best thing. So if you've got strengths and you've got weaknesses, it's okay. We want to hear it all.
Do you have any advice for students who are preparing for the interview?
Don't over prepare.
Don't over prepare.
Be yourself. Because we can tell if you only answer the questions that people have prepped you to answer, we can tell when we ask you questions that you're not expecting. Because we do. We have questions that we're like, okay, let's throw them a curveball. Let's see, how they're going to answer this one. Because we don't want you to just have canned responses. We want you to be your true self. So,
thank you. We know how powerful it is for Korean families to meet admissions team and you as well in person, whether it's at a fair, a school visit, or one-on-one meeting. Are there any upcoming plans for you and your team to visit Korea this year or next year?
Yes, I will be in Seoul in November.
In November.
So I don't have all the details in front of me right now, but if you look on our website and you can say meet the team, there's a travel piece and it will tell you when I will be there. So feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to see you on the road, but also know that the rest of the team is going to be here, and if you come in person, that's also great. So, and let me also say, we do a couple of virtual events. So we just did a teacher panel about a week ago. In October, we will do a student panel, and then in November, we'll do kind of a virtual open house. So these are also virtual events so that you can just learn more about the Rectory School. That's not coming from just me or the admissions team. So we want you to learn as much about Rectory as you can, and here, those are opportunities for you to do that.
Thank you. Next question is, one of the first questions we hear from Korean families is, where do the students go after they graduate from Rectory? Big question. Could you share where your Korean students have typically matriculated for senior boarding schools in recent years? Are there any trends that you recognize, any popular choices, or success stories that stands out to you?
Yeah. So that's a great question. We'll graduate about 65 students every year. And I wouldn't say that there's anything typical about that process. Our secondary school advising office works really hard to make sure that they find the right fit for every ninth grader to then continue the good work they started here onto that next school. So, I mean, we have students that are right next door at Pomfret School. We have students at Blair and Lawrenceville, and then we have students, up north. So they're all over. And ultimately, we want these kids to graduate and go to a place that they can feel comfortable. So our kids look at Rectory as their home away from home, and we want them to find another home away from home at their secondary school. So we try to help them with that. So.
You've seen many students walk through your doors over the years. How many years? 20?
Oh, yeah.
Each with their own journey and transformation. Is there a student story, personal memory, or moment that has stayed with you? Something also that captures the heart of Rectory School?
I think just the fact that our students, even after they graduate, they stay in touch. So we have like the younger students who, many of our kids will go to schools in New England and they might play against Pomfret School next door. So we'll get the text from a student saying, I'm coming over to Pomfret at 3 o'clock today. Can you come over and watch my game? Or, we have the kids who, are a little bit older now and they might come to a reception in some city, or they might be getting married, or, and they send invitations, and those connections stay even after they graduate. And to me, that's so special. So they come to Rectory and it's their first time away from their house, right? And then they leave being like, yes, this is another home. And these people that they have made these friendships with, students and adults, they continue those friendships even beyond graduation.
That's really special. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you for coming. Yeah.
Well, before we do wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to share specifically with Korean parents, especially for those who might be exploring new junior boarding schools, or who's considering about applying to Rectory?
Yeah. We have an amazing group of parents in Korea and alumni. So when I go to Seoul this year, I will be I'll have one night of alumni and one night with our current families. And they help tell that story. So you may think just because this is my job, I'm always going to say positive things about Rectory. But our parents share real life. So they share, how challenging it was to first send them, and then they share the, how do you cope at home without having your child there. So if at any point you want to meet any of these families or talk to them, they are more than happy to chat with you. So please, come visit us, come meet our kids, our parents, our alumni, because they are the ones that really could share the Rectory story.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. I feel so welcomed. And this will be the end of our interview.
Thank you. Bye-bye.